I'm very glad to be here. Welcome all. My name is Seynedhee. I'm very glad to be here with my special guest, PrenTsilya Boa Guehe, who is a huge name, not only in the Ivorian diaspora, but also in the world of tech, of youth, of innovation, and who can tell us all about tech, innovation, mobility, and having an impact as a person of the diaspora. Welcome.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So glad to have you. So can you tell us a bit about what motivated you from your background to now being an actor in the tech space? So tell us your motivations and then what you do now as well.
Yeah, so I was born in Paris and then moved to the US quite young. And so having that initial background of being born in France from Côte d'Ivoire, having that in our blood and being raised with that, but growing up in the United States where you have any opportunity, if you see it, you can be it, you just have to pursue your dreams, that really opened up the world for us over there. And our mom really raised us to pursue and make sure we make an impact in our communities first, at home first. And so when we were in the US, there was a civil conflict in Côte d'Ivoire, and at the age of 17, I just followed what my mom was doing, which was starting a nonprofit to work in rural villages in Côte d'Ivoire. And so we supported women, we did microcredit programs, we were fighting for more peacekeepers, and just really trying to be supportive of our communities back in Côte d'Ivoire, because that is our ancestry, that is where we come from, and we have a big role to play there. And so that really motivated me from a very young age to do something international, to focus on Africa, and to see that my talents could go a lot further overseas. I think we can use them in the Western world, but there's just a lot more we can do on the continent. And so I saw that opportunity from a very young age. And so from there, I became a US diplomat, working across multiple African countries, peace negotiations, trade negotiations, worked at the African Union, and now I work for Google, have been doing that for about 4 years. I'm very excited to work with policymakers in the tech space and trying to really bridge that digital divide on the continent. Wow. It's been awesome.
That's amazing. So looking at your mother, how she raised you, remembering where you came from, and also being able to have an impact everywhere you go, from public to private sector, and NGO space as well. So where are you based now, and what drove you to go from living and growing up in the US and France to choosing where you live now?
Yeah, I live in Nairobi, Kenya. Kenya M-Pesa Nation is really incredible. I was just saying with Mo, when I live in Kenya, I don't really touch cash ever to pay for my hair, electricity, water. Everything is done with mobile payments. It's a mobile first nation, very advanced technologically. We have Google, we have Microsoft headquartered there. And so a lot of multinational corporations see the potential of African economies, and Kenya is one of those digital hubs, I would say. There's a lot of young people, entrepreneurs, a lot is happening. And so it's amazing to feel and be a part of that and to be surrounded by that. The quality of life is also really high. So you can enjoy safaris and mountains and beaches and the city life. It's very developed and has, of course, some challenges. But I really, really enjoy living on the continent, being surrounded by beautiful people who are fighting to make a better life every day, and being part of that movement as well.
That's amazing. I've gotten the chance to visit Kenya, visiting you, and it's amazing. And so I would love for you to share maybe how you would see the future of Africa, if all of us youth, whether in the diaspora, abroad, or living on the continent now, really took charge of the future. How would it look? What would you say?
I am very optimistic. Naturally an optimistic person. I think that's part of the American upbringing. But I see a lot of opportunity. The continent is predominantly young people. The future depends on young people. We have 1.5 billion people on the continent, majority of whom are youth. And so when we think about what the future will look like, I'm looking to them, what do they think is possible? What support do they need? What kind of infrastructure do we need to put in place? What kind of skilling and education do we need to provide? So the things that Mo was talking about, how he's providing support through education, is really, really critical, because that's what's going to lay the groundwork and the foundation for those youth to really take off, to create the innovation, the jobs, those unicorn companies that are really going to make an impact in the tech space and in the world. And I would say the biggest thing that people really have to focus on is solving a problem locally. What problem closest to you matters to you most that you have access to solve? And we can export that solution globally in most cases. And so start where you are, meet people where they are with the resources you have, and of course, use the technology and space to go global, and people will be drawn to that sort of a solution. And so the things that you're doing right now, trying to create bridges between the diaspora and the continent, I feel like this is really how we make the magic happen. When we work together and we unite between the diaspora that's in Europe and America and those that are on the continent, I mean, the world is ours, right? By 2050, a quarter of the world's population will be in Africa. And so the world's future depends on us and what we do with that opportunity. So I'm very optimistic, but there's a lot of work to do right now in order to make that happen.
That's beautiful. There's a lot of work to do. 3 words that you would say to our watchers, listeners, who already have been inspired by what you've shared, but who maybe want to take away 3 key things?
I would say perseverance. You got to keep it pushing no matter what's happening. Belief. You have to believe in faith, in your passion, and your mission, in God, a higher purpose, and unity, community. We're all a part of something bigger. Yeah.
UNITY.
Yes.
I love that. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Good job.